Yo, what's good YouTube? It's your boy Ben back with another video, and today I'll be talking about 5 altcoins that I'm looking at now that Bitcoin has broken all-time highs. Now it's been a crazy week since the last time I made a video, and before I get into the altcoins, I just want to do a quick update on Bitcoin and go over some of the indicators I was looking at from last time and see where we're at now. So before we get into that, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and also turn on that notification bell. It really helps the channel grow, and I'm trying to reach as many people as possible. So please do that. And without further ado, let's get right into the content. So like I said, before I go over some of the altcoins, I just want to do a quick update on Bitcoin. So last time I made a video, we were looking at this green line, the 350-day moving average, which is one of the moving averages associated with the pi cycle top indicator. And I pointed out how we usually test this line as resistance before breaking through. And usually when we do break through and sustainably hold breaking through this line, we usually go on to, into a crazy bull market, and Bitcoin essentially 2x's from that point. So we've broken through, check one, right, cleared. Now what we want to see is it reliably hold on to this level. We've had fake outs in the past before. If I go back here to 2019, as you can see, and I think I mentioned this last week as well, we broke through, but then ultimately came back down and closed below it. Broke through again and then came back down before, the trend reversed. So just because we broke through it this first week, we don't want to get too ahead of ourselves. And actually back in 2016, we also had an instance of it briefly closing above it before coming back below here. So we had a deviation above it and then came back below it ultimately. So we want to see some follow through over the next 2 or 3 weeks, and if we continue to move higher, then I think we can safely assume that we've cleared this hurdle, and we're likely to see some price action like this, where Bitcoin went from $20,000 to $42K in about a month, so a couple weeks. So that would be crazy if we saw Bitcoin just go from 69K to like 120 or something by the time of the halving, but it wouldn't be outside of precedent. So we'll take a look out for that. And if we do end up coming back to test this orange line, that's currently at 46,000. So that's a pretty steep fall. I don't think we'll come back there. And usually once we take off, as you can see here, doesn't come back and retest it, or at least last cycle it didn't come back and retest it until basically we hit a major top. So we'll see what happens if we come back and retest this line. I don't think it's too likely, but you have to be prepared for all scenarios. Looking at the logarithmic regression band on Bitcoin, we're still technically in the green accumulation zone. So if you put weight into this indicator, this would suggest that it's not a bad time to buy. And obviously if Bitcoin can essentially 2x in a few weeks from here, which is what the it holding over the 350-day moving average would suggest, especially if you're going in with size, that's not a bad risk reward. Not financial advice. But all I'm saying is that this would indicate it's not too late to get into Bitcoin. That being said, this video is about altcoins, and I'll be going through 5 that I feel are going to do well in the coming weeks and months, and I'll also go over why I'm choosing these altcoins over maybe some of the hotter names you're hearing right now. So that pretty much wraps up my Bitcoin update. Looking to see, like I said, if we can sustainably hold above the 350-day moving average, and if so, I'd expect pretty aggressive price movement to the upside over the coming weeks. And if you want to use the logarithmic regression band as a target, like I mentioned last week, the lower end of that is at 170K right now. So that could be, big indicator that Bitcoin is topped, especially if we see a pi cycle top around the same time it hits this area here. All right, so moving into the altcoins that I want to talk about, I've selected 5, like I said, that I feel are pretty good bets to do at least a 3 to 4x from here. They're kind of lagging behind Bitcoin's price action. Bitcoin is already broken its all-time high, and these altcoins are still, around 2x below it. So they're a good catch-up play from that perspective. And also, I don't see a lot of people talking about them, so it's not a bad time to accumulate. None of them have run up too much, and if anything, it's kind of been slow, discrete upward price movement. So that's always a plus to me. I don't want to buy in when everybody's FOMOing and the price is going up like 3x in a week, like some of these meme coins. I want to be putting my money where the smart money is going, and I feel like right now the smart money are accumulating these kind of mid-cap coins, and I'll go over why I believe that right now. All right, before I get into the specific altcoins, I want to go over this path to alt season diagram. I'm sure you've seen this before, but I think it's good to review it and kind of point out where I think we are in the cycle right now. In my opinion, we're somewhere between this phase overlap where money flows into Ethereum, but it struggles to keep up with Bitcoin, and Ethereum is going back and forth with Bitcoin and starts to outperform it a bit. And mixed in with this, where money is starting to trickle into large caps, where we see large overlap buy-ups happening. So I don't think we're right at this point just yet, but I think we're starting to see the beginnings of that with some of these altcoins running today, like XRP and Litecoin and Dogecoin. Last week, we're starting to see some of the larger cap altcoins wake up. And obviously over the past few weeks, we've seen the BTC ETH ratio essentially stay in a range between 0.052 and like 0.6. And we've seen, as Bitcoin goes up, Ethereum will chill for a little bit, and then Ethereum will catch right back up in the following days. So I think we're pretty much at this point in the cycle right now. And that being the case, I don't think we've really seen this part yet, which is large caps really starting to run. We've seen meme coins and a couple other, top 100 coins here and there start taking off, but we haven't really seen the aggressive price movement to the upside and some of the coins I'm about to talk about right now. And so that being the case, I feel like smart money would be buying these large caps right now in the assumption that we're going to see some type of aggressive movement to the upside and the catch-up trade with some of these mid to large cap altcoins. All right, I just realized I didn't have my screen share on for that, so I'll have to edit that into the video in post-production. But moving on to my first play, I have Matic. So, if you've spent any time in crypto, Matic is a coin you've probably heard about and come to know a bit about, right? And this is one that I'm really looking at in terms of a catch-up play to Bitcoin, and one that I think is undervalued in comparison to the rest of the market right now. As you can see, the previous all-time high was around $3 essentially, and right now we're sitting at $1.24. And it's started to move over the past week or so, but we're still really undervalued if you compare it to some of the other larger cap tokens like BNB and Dogecoin, for instance. So I think this is a clear, easy 2x play to the upside to the prior all-time high, and in my opinion, shouldn't be a surprise if this ends up breaking the all-time high and going to around $4 within the next few weeks or months. And something that I don't see a lot of people mentioning right now is the potential airdrop narrative that will be happening with Matic. There's a lot of rumors going around by people in the know about a potential Tether airdrop with Matic, which I'll probably make a video specifically just on that topic in the future. But because I'm aware of that, along with some other projects that might be airdropping to Polygon that are planning to build on their ag layer solution, I think Polygon is a really strong play, and it's essentially just doing what it's always done, right? Has a long consolidation period and then aggressively breaks out to the upside, and once it has that breakout, it really just moves very quickly. Like if you went from, if you look here back in December 2020, which I think is pretty analogous with where we are right now in the cycle, it pretty much went from 14 cents to $3 in about 5 months, and it went from 14 cents to 55 cents in like two months or so. So I think this pattern here looks very similar to what we're seeing right now, just a long accumulation, consolidation period, and then probably once we break this high here at $1.57, it'll probably shoot very aggressively up to the upside. So especially once people really start catching on about those airdrops that might be potentially coming. So don't sleep on Matic. I would definitely size up into this, and it's a pretty safe and easy play to me in terms of the large caps. Moving on to my next one, AVAX. And AVAX has seen some really aggressive price movement in the past few weeks, but it's still fairly undervalued considering where the all-time high of $150 more or less was at. So that's like a 3x from here, and as you can see, once it moves really quickly. So if we can break pretty much where we're at right now, this $50 range, I think we'll see it move up pretty quickly to $100. And this is a coin that I actually bought today. I also bought Matic, but that was a few weeks back when it was around 94 cents. I did size some into AVAX today, and the speculation that it'll break out here. Not financial advice again, just letting you know what my moves are. And the reason I'm pretty bullish on AVAX is because there are still people using the chain, and the developers are still building on it. It's not a ghost chain. The AVAX Labs team is very good, and I trust them. And they have big plans for AVAX, and AVAX is usually one that moves a little bit after some of the larger caps like Solana. But like I said, once it starts moving, it really starts moving. Unlike Matic, I can't say that I have any real insight into potential airdrops or things like that, but I'm sure the Ava Labs team has something cooking on the back end, and I think this chart looks really good. We had a really aggressive move up here, healthy pullback, kind of upwards consolidation, and now I think it's getting ready to moon from here. So looking at how Bitcoin is already past its all-time high, and this is still like 3x off, and considering how strong the AVAX community is, and how great a chain it is in terms of fees and things like that and speed, I think once again, like Matic, it's a no-brainer, and it's one of those carryovers from last cycle that I feel comfortable sizing into. And that's pretty much a sort of pattern here, or criteria for me is if I'm going to put real size in these tokens, right, I want it to be in protocols that I really trust. And with Matic and AVAX, they're proven. They were around last cycle, survived the bear market. It looks like if you look at this price action, and even if it only gets back to the prior all-time high in the next few months, I mean, like I said, that's still a 3x. And as long as Bitcoin doesn't kick the dumps, right, I don't think there is any danger of you waking up tomorrow and it being down 90% immediately. So these are the type of tokens I'm looking at to size into. If I'm talking about putting real size, 10k plus into something, I want to really trust it. And Matic and AVAX, I feel like are pretty comfy holds in today's bull market. Next on the list is Optimism. So similar to Matic, right? Which I didn't mention actually, but if you're really into crypto, you probably know this, right? Matic layer 2, Optimism also a layer 2. It's an optimistic roll up, unlike Matic, but I view Optimism as sort of a levered play on Ethereum. So I wouldn't put as much size into it right now as I would into Ethereum. But this is one that I'm really looking to lever up in. Unlike AVAX and Matic, it is pretty much at all-time highs right now, so it's in price discovery. So not really a catch-up trade like those two from an undervalued perspective. But that being said, it's a token that was launched, essentially in the bear market. So we really don't know how it will perform this cycle. But if I compare it to the Arbitrum chart, right, it looks just, I don't know, better than me, really. I don't know really what to make of. I don't even know when I drew this, but yeah, I don't really know what to make of Arbitrum too much. This doesn't look like that clear to me, but Optimism just looks like a lot cleaner of a chart, just slowly moving up, and its Bitcoin valuation also looks better than Arbitrum's. So you can kind of see it as an oscillator. So at the very least, I'm thinking it's it made a double bottom here, maybe even a triple bottom, moved up, had a bit of a pullback, but I think once we enter this phase, right, Optimism is one that can aggressively move at least back to these highs. If I compare it to the Arbitrum chart, it pulled back a lot, and it pulled back even more than Optimism. So I want to take at least one big bet on an optimistic layer 2 for Ethereum, and pretty much the main two are Arbitrum and Optimism, and between those two, Optimism just looks like a better chart, right? So I'm not as bullish on Optimism as I am Matic and AVAX, but it's still altcoin that I would feel comfortable sizing into as we approach this next leg of the bull market. Fourth is Solana. So this is one that everybody obviously knows has been on a crazy tear ever since pretty much last October, and it's gone up a lot. That being said, over the past 2 months or so, it's cooled down a bit, which I think is healthy, right? You don't want to just see it go straight up, because that usually means it's gonna go straight down. So I like the fact that it's kind of building out this strong base of support. We have a nice pivot area here, and it's just making higher lows and higher highs at this point. And I think we're really this is some tight consolidation, and it's only a matter of time before Solana explodes again. Pause. And we're still about a 2x off from the all-time high. I mean, maybe a little less than a 2x, but it's still off from the all-time high. So from that perspective, it's undervalued when Bitcoin is already at its and past its all-time high. So again, I feel like this is a pretty comfy trade to put some real size into, and I think this is one that you can sit tight in, similar to AVAX and Matic. And of course, Solana has tons of different narratives going for it. From there's still airdrops to come for it, like Kamino, draft, or DAF, yeah, draft, Kamino, draft, exchange, margin fi. I think Parcel still has an airdrop coming. With holders might get an airdrop. I know someone just announced the airdrop for bonk holders. So the Solana ecosystem is alive and well, and I wouldn't fade it just because it's going up this much. It's just one of the really strong performers of this cycle, and I think it still has a lot of upside to go. And finally, the last token I want to bring up is Mantle. So this is a bit lower cap than the other, well, not even a bit, it's a lot lower cap than the others. So maybe this isn't technically a large cap, but I wanted to put it here in this list as another L2 play on Ethereum. I think Jordy Alexander is involved in it, and he's really into game theory, and has spent a lot of time thinking about crypto game theory, and it seems like his Ponzi is doing pretty good right now. And I think this price action looks decent. So I didn't want to put all just large caps in this video. I wanted to include one a bit smaller, because these smaller cap tokens are the ones that have room to really leg out. So if I'm sizing into this, I wouldn't put as much in it as the other coins I just mentioned, but I would put a certain allocation in it, and I'd be expecting a larger gain out of it than the others. So for the others, I'm expecting 2 to 4 X's for this one, or 2 to 4 X's to the all-time highs, I should say. For this one, I would be wanting to get like a 5 or 6, maybe even 7X out of it, which obviously comes with more risk. But I just like the price action I've been seeing from it, and it's just a series of higher highs and higher lows. And I think this is one that could perform well this cycle. So that's the 5th coin that I have my eye on. And before I end the video, I just wanted to point out some special mentions really quickly, starting with Theta. This is one that I held last cycle, and I got in around I think it was probably about the price it's at right now, around $3, and it ended up going to $15. Held too long, of course, but learned my lesson. And I wasn't sure how this one would perform this cycle, just being that I haven't seen a lot of narrative around it. But given the run we've seen over the past few days, it's making me think that this might be one that you don't want to fade. It's showing some strong price action here as Bitcoin is breaking the all-time high, which might be a good sign of things to come. And as you can see here, this looks similar to the Matic chart, right? It kind of did the same thing here as it did here. Consolidation, and then a quick move to the upside, right? Boom, pullback, and then just took off. We're kind of seeing the same thing. Boom, pullback, takes off. So, and it's still 5x from the previous high. So I'm not saying, again, not financial advice, I wouldn't put a ton of money in it, but this is one I have my eye on now, so that's why I wanted to put it in the special mentions. Another one is Cardano. I know a lot of people think Cardano is a meme token at this point, and maybe it is. There's not a lot of traction on the chain compared to some of the other tokens from smart contract tokens and alt layer ones from last cycle, but it still does have a community and a lot of people that believe in it, and it's survived multiple cycles at this point. So I think it would be foolish to fade it, especially, again, this pattern here looks very similar to this, almost scary how similar it looks. And if this is that, right, then we could be on the beginning stages of a move to the upside like this, where it gets back to at least $1.50, which is, you know, 2x from here. And it wouldn't be surprising if it broke its all-time high. So again, this is one where the narrative on it, I would argue, you know, isn't as strong as the 5 I mentioned before, but you know, it's just one that I wouldn't want to, that I have a hard time really fading. So I did start to nibble on this a little bit last week, and I might size in some more depending on what happens over the next few days. But I don't want to be one of the people that faded ADA over here, and then, you know, we went on this tear. So yeah, just keep a lookout for that one. And finally, VeChain, again, another one that is kind of a meme at this point. You know, it's supposed to be like a supply chain, blockchain or whatever, and companies use it. Supposedly like Walmart does, but you know, there's not a lot of activity on the chain. But again, this is one that survived multiple bear markets at this point, and you know, this looks very similar. I mean, it looks the exact same. So it's hard to fade these coins when you see like this pattern. Yeah, I mean, there's not much to say on it. There's not a lot of narrative to it. It's just me looking at the chart and seeing a very similar pattern. And all 3 of these special mentions are tokens that I held last cycle and did well for me. And you know, last cycle, I think the narrative around them was a little stronger before we all, you know, saw the real adoption of them, or lack thereof. But it's hard to fade them when you see the price movement, the price moving how it has been over the past couple days, weeks. And especially when you start to see, you know, Ethereum and already essentially back at all-time highs, and Bitcoin breaking them. You know, these coins are probably going to catch up. So yeah, I'll keep a lookout for them. All right, so that video went a little bit longer than I wanted it to, but I hope you found value in that. Again, definitely you want to be looking at larger caps right now. Usually, you know, once Bitcoin breaks its all-time high, you might have you know, another 2 to 3x or so of upside. Especially in this cycle, you want to be pretty careful because Bitcoin is doing things we've never seen before. So it might be even, you know, less than a 2x move. So that being the case, I think you really want to start looking at large caps to make that catch-up move with Bitcoin as we move into that next part of the bull run. And I hope, or I think that the 5 I gave you today will, you know, get you a nice safe 3x to their prior all-time highs. And you know, it's very likely if Bitcoin continues to move up from here, they'll break those all-time highs. So hope you found value in this video. If you did, please like, comment, and subscribe. Like I said, it really helps out. And catch you next time.